Hello, Math 140 students. This is your instructor, Cindy Enrique, and we will continue with Chapter 7. So Section 7.5 is all about the complex rational expressions. So a rational complex expression is just a fraction within a fraction. So it's a fraction within a fraction. So for number 1, I want to simplify this fraction. So just know that this numerator is really the fraction 3/4, and my denominator is the 5/6. So I'm going to rewrite this. So I have the 3/4, it's being divided by the 5/6. And whenever you divide fractions, you're really going to turn it into copy times flip. Where you copy the first fraction, you change it to multiplication, that's your times, and then you flip that second fraction, which is the reciprocal. So now you have a fraction that's being multiplied. So you have 3 times 6 and 4 times 5. And here you can see, let's see if anything can cancel. Well, I guess 4 and 6, they have a 2 in common. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I'm going to have 3 times 3, which is 9, and 2 times 5, which is 10. So my final fraction there is going to be 9 divided by 10. For number 2, it's the same process. So I have that numerator, and I have the denominator. So I'm going to rewrite this. So I have my 2 over x, and it's being divided by that fraction, which is y over 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do the copy times flip it. So I'm going to copy the first fraction, I'm going to change it to multiplication, and then I flip it. So I have a 3 over y. And so numerator times numerator, I have 2 times 3, and my denominator is x times y. Nothing can cancel out, nothing has like terms, so I have a 6 over my xy as my final answer. Number 3, we have addition and subtraction within our complex, and that's okay. Just remember that this is still my numerator, and I still have my denominator down below. So if I were to rewrite this, my numerator, I have a 1/4 plus my 2/3, and it's being divided by my 3/8 minus my 1/6. Now here I'm going to put brackets around it so I know what I'm doing. So this one represented my numerator, and that green fraction represented my denominator. So I am actually going to do the inside first. So you can go ahead and grab your calculator, and I'm going to do the fraction 1/4 plus my 2/3, and that's going to give me my 11/12, which is going to be multiplied by my green fraction. And again, I'm using my calculator. So on the calculator, I have my 3/8 minus my 1/6. And so here I'm going to have my 5 over 24. And remember, you still have division. Now, at this point, this is where I'm going to copy, times it, and flip. So I'm going to copy the first fraction, which is my 11/12. I'm going to change it to multiplication, and then I'm going to flip that fraction to be 24 over 5. So now I'm going to have my fraction. I have 11 times 24, and I have 12 times 5. Let's see if anything can cancel. Well, I know 12 divided by 12 is 1, and 12 divided by 24 is 2. And I think that's as far as you can go. So my final answer, I have 11 times 2, and I have 1 times 5, which is going to give me 22 over 5 as my final answer. Okay. Now for number 4. Again, I have a fraction within a fraction. I have addition, and I also have some subtraction. So I just have to deal with this rationally and slowly. So I have 5. I can think of it as a 5 over 1 plus my x over 3. This is my numerator. And it's being divided by the denominator, which is that 4x minus the 1 over 2x. And that's my denominator. So here, I need to find my LCD for my numerator. My LCD is going to be 3. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3. So I'm going to have a 15 over 5 plus an x over 3 There we go. The denominator there is 3. So now this numerator becomes 15 plus x over 3. And I still have the division that I'm dealing with. So now that I have that simplified, I'm going to deal with my green fraction. So here I want to look at my LCD, and it looks like it's a 2x. So this first fraction needs to get multiplied by a 2. Whatever I multiply the bottom by, I multiply the numerator by. So now I'm going to have 4 times 2, which is an 8, and I have my 2x minus 1 over 2x. So I have 8 minus 1, which is a 7 over my 2x. Now I'm going to rewrite this, and I'll go ahead and put this in standard form. I have x plus 15 over 3, and I times it. And don't forget to flip it. So I'm going to have 2x on top and 7 on the bottom. So now I have a x plus 15 being multiplied by 2x and a 3 times 7. And it doesn't look like anything can cancel. So my final answer, I will have a 2x, x plus my 15 all over 21. And so that ends up becoming my final answer for number 4. Number 5 is the exact same process. So I know that I have my numerator and I know that I have my denominator. So in that numerator, I have my 5 over my 2x minus 1, and it is being divided by x over x plus 1. So I don't have any addition or subtraction, so that's nice. So I'm going to copy the first fraction, 5 over 2x minus 1, change it to multiplication, and then I do the flip. So I have x plus 1 over x. And it doesn't look like anything can cancel. So I have 5 times my x plus 1 and x times my 2x minus 1. And so that ends up becoming my final answer. Okay, for number 6, this one's a little intense, but it's still doable. So why not just do it? So I have 1 minus 1 over f minus 3. And that was my numerator. And of course I have my denominator, and it's being divided. So I have 1 over f squared minus f minus 6 minus 1 over f plus 2. Okay. So this first fraction, I need my least common denominator. You can think of it when there isn't a denominator, it defaults to be a denominator of 1. So the LCD is going to be f minus 3. So that means the numerator and the denominator needs to get multiplied by that f minus 3. So I'm going to have this as an f minus 3 over f minus 3 minus 1 over f minus 3. So I'm just dealing with that first fraction. So now if I combine like terms, f minus 3 minus 1, because I distribute that 1, so I'm combining the numerator, and my denominator, I still have an f minus 3. But minus 3 and minus 1 gives me a minus 4. Okay, so I still have my division. And looking at this fraction, it looks like I am going to go ahead and factor. So if I want to multiply to 6, that would be 3 and 2. Negative 1 in the middle, that means negative 3 and positive 2. So now I know that my LCD is going to be a combination of both denominators, which is f minus 3 and f plus 2. So that first fraction, I have that 1 over f minus 3 f plus 2. And so nothing is missing from that denominator. That second one, I have f plus 2. And so what I'm missing is the f minus 3. So I need to multiply the numerator by f minus 3. So now I have 1 over f minus 3 f plus 2 minus, and I have f minus 3 over f plus 2 f minus 3. So now I'm going to combine like terms. And remember, when I take this negative, it distributes to that numerator. So I'm going to have 1 minus f plus 3 over f minus 3 f plus 2. So I'm going to have f minus 4 over f minus 3 being divided by, and that green fraction, it looks like I have a negative f, and I have a positive 1 plus 3, so that's going to give me a positive 4 over f minus 3 f plus 2. Now this is where I am going to copy times and flip. So I have the f minus 4 over the f minus 3, so I just copied it, change it to multiplication, and now I flip it. So now I have f minus 3, and I have an f plus 2. And that denominator, what I can do is I can factor out a negative 1 from there, so that way I can have f minus 4. So when I cross cancel, the f minus 4 cancels out, and the f minus 3 cancels out. So I'm left with f plus 2 over negative 1, which would be the same as saying negative 1 times my f plus 2 as your final answer. Okay? So that's it for number 6. So we have some practice problems. So this is where you're going to press pause, and you guys are going to work out these practice problems, okay? Just because we're not meeting face to face doesn't mean that you have to, oops, sorry about that. There we go. So just because we're not meeting face to face doesn't mean that you can skip out on the work. So I definitely want you to press pause, and I want you to work out these practice problems. Okay, press pause and work them out. Okay guys, welcome back. So I hope you had pressed pause and worked out these problems. So for number 1, my final answer was 35x over x plus 5. There's the work if you want to see it. For number 2, my final answer after I copy times flip and I canceled out like terms was 2u squared over 16s. And for number 3, my final answer was x to the 6th power over 36x plus 5. And for number 4, my final answer was w minus 2 over w plus 6. And that was the end of your practice problems. All right, if you guys have any questions, concerns, or comments, please feel free to email me.